Hey everybody, I am back with the next season of Food Wars, season 3 or third plate. Just wrapped it up last night, so now I can do like a review of it, and that way I can get right into the fourth plate. So we're halfway through the series. Once I'm done with Food Wars, I'm gonna be going into some Batman, TV stuff. Going from like the anime series, Batman Beyond. Uh, you might throw in like a couple of movies here and there while I'm at it. While I'm on the roll. Uh, uh, the Batman and Brave and the Bold. In terms of just Batman related TV stuff. Then roll my way back into some anime because I thought I can give some anime like a bit of a break for a while. Uh, anyway, before we get into it, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Let me know what's your favorite episode, favorite dish that you've seen from Food Wars, and who's your favorite character. So, and we meet. This season we actually get to meet the the complete seat of 10 who co runs the entire he wouldn't say Yukihira, that's the main character, the entire school, the council of crap. Toski. Jeez, I don't know why I was blanking on the name of Toski. And so we meet like Toronori Koga, who specializes in Chinese cuisine. Aizen, not to be confused with Sosuke Aizen from Bleach. This is Etsuya Aizen. He's well known for business consultant, helping many Japanese businesses prosper. Nene Kinokuni, who also is well versed in Japanese cuisines. Iski, the first seat of the seat of 10, known as like the White Knight of the Table. And I love this character because more often than not he seems kind of like a goofball and nervous and erratic, but when he's in the zone of cooking, this dude like gets super serious. And I imagine a lot of girls love this character because he seems like that type of what's the opposite of waifu? Husband, who, whatever. Rindo, I love Rindo. I don't know why she has this cat-like appearance on her, and she loves trying new food. I really love this character. She's a world-class traveler who specializes in unorthodox exotic ingredients for her cooking, such as alligator. Momo Akingakubu, I butchered that name, who's a pastry chef, loves sweets. Like I said in my previous review of Food Wars, if I was specialized in any type of cooking, it will be baking. That'll be because I like sweets too. I would be like that would be my main go-to if I was choosing anything. Somei Sato, uh, uh, well, we haven't gotten to. Hold on a second. Stupid. Here's the. Sorry. Something going on with the color projector egg thing I got. I don't even know the name of it, but it's letting off sound that it doesn't need to. Got distracted. Julio Sauerschuh specializes in Italian cooking. And of course, we got like Aaron Nakari, but oh, and then Ishiki. Yeah, Ishiki. So, but we're already familiar with Ishiki and Arana, but we now get to see the other seats for the first time here. But anyway, hold on. Sorry about that. I got shut off the entire thing. It was making all these types of uh, sounds. It's like I don't know where's that coming from. Uh, it's been working so far, and I never. It happened once. It didn't happen again since, but I don't know. Probably going to get like a new kind of lighting thing to like accentuate the ambiance, but whatever, it's fine. Anyway, so now that we introduced with the rest of the seat of the 10, the new part of this set of classes is like the is doing like after the fall selection is getting towards the winter time for Japan, and now we're going into this next round of well, at least the syllabus, I guess, is the Moon Festival. Now it's kind of like, and they set up in like these 3 different tiers along this mountain area, where I guess you can choose which one you want to, which end you want to set up at, but it's very important how you go about it, because depending on the foot traffic and how well your dishes are, will determine how many of these like note things you gather up. Kind of like how much money you get when you're running a restaurant, but instead of like cash, you got these kind of slips, and you get enough slips, you get to advance further, and the little you get, you get like kind of like a failing grade. Soma ends up meeting one of the seat of the 10, Kuga, as I mentioned before, and he meets up with the cat face lady. I keep blanking on it. I'm never good with names. That's why I got like a list of the people's names pulled out right here. And Kuga, showed Soma, because he has like these, a team of people. These bald-headed dudes is like his personal students, and they all like meticulously work in like unison, like they're in like a martial arts class, and they train in the exact same way and repetition. And you can tell they utilize 3D, because the East, or at least in particular Japan, utilizes 3D in particular ways. Like it's not like not used as a crutch like most of the times in the West. They use it very sparingly, but also when it counts. And here, I think this is very important, where you get like these 360 rotation of these trainees, cooking in a walk, and like huh, and it clearly is 3D, but it's like used very intelligently, and you get this 3D circle around seeing this like rows of these guys cooking in walks in the exact same fashion. Even though sometimes it's like, I think it's a good idea that they all just look the same, because you don't really get all their names, but their behaviors, at least a few of them that stick close by with Koga, they're kind of still distinct in a way. You don't really need to know their names exactly, and you don't need to know their backstory like that, but it's still good that they are distinct enough and have some input here and there to where they kind of accentuate Kuga as a whole. Not that he needs it, he's very distinct and charming in his own right, but it's kind of like reminds me of Gary in Pokemon with all those little cheerleaders in the background. It's kind of like that. So he provides Soma a taste of what he does at the Mopu Tofu, and the recipe has this dish utilizes the balance between Szechuan peppercorns and chili peppers, also known in Chinese as malawai. When done properly, it could bamboozle the diner with the interplay of spiciness and deliciousness on the tongue. So it has Szechuan peppercorns, silken tofu, chili bean paste, Shaoxing wine, minced pork, scallions, soy sauce. Mafu Dofu extra spicy version, minced pork from tofu, chicken stock, sweet bean sauce, chili bean sauce, black bean sauce, garlic, chili pepper, scallions. Uh, so it'll blow you away because he likes making things like spicy. And like, God, please make sure that you guys have something to eat already, because it's like we're going over this recipe and all these different foods. It'll make you hungry. So someone was clearly blown away. So now he has to figure out how to outthink and outperform Kuga. And it's him and Megami who set up this little stand in the I think they're in the middle tier, where at first Kuga is getting so much foot traffic. It's almost like a line around the block kind of thing. Everybody's sitting there worried about Soma in this. It was like, oh my god, it's like just him and Megami is not getting, you know, that much foot traffic. But Soma, after like a day, eventually kind of flipped it on everybody, because he gets assistance from an unlikely source, which was the that copycat cook. What's his name? I blanked on his name, but let me go back and take my sister back. Mimasaka. And he had Mimasaka try to, you know, make sure he copies him to the point where it's like, you know, he actually went to his family's eatery and started, you know, cooking like Soma and acting like Soma. So that way, when he comes in to help him and Megami, it's just like having two Somas, you know, working at the food stand. Then eventually, other of Soma's friends starts helping out after they was finished with their thing, like Meat and Takumi Aldini. And of course, it's kind of funny. We see like Alice, Nakari, Rio, and Akira working together in their own little group, and she is kind of like the what they call. She called their little trio like the team in white, because I don't know why. It's because she's like obviously porcelain white, and you know he has like gray, silver, white hair kind of thing, and Rio doesn't even wear that much white. I don't know why, but she herself proclaimed kind of like a leader of their little group. So when it came time, and then Megami eventually calls in a favor from people that you know to bring in some seats and tables that they weren't using. So that way, because some are come to, after observing after a day where it just seems like, you know, oh, he's, you know, like Kuga is like dominating, but you know, someone was patient. He just observed and he witnessed that because his, you know, fancy food, despite it being good, it, you know, it's almost like it hurts him in a way at the same time, where it's so busy and everybody's waiting to try this food. The lines are way too long and there's people standing in line seemingly forever, and there's nowhere for them to, oh, there's places to see inside, but the people who are ordering their food and trying to enjoy their food can't really, you know, take their time with it properly, because they're, you know, there's new people ready to be seated and it's like not enough seats. There's decent amount of seats, but still not enough, where it's like having like the maitre d walking over to people at the tables like, I'm sorry, sir, but we're having trouble finding seats for people. So I was wondering if you're ready to like probably finish and so we can see new people. And then even the guy said like I barely even finished my food already, kind of thing. And it's like that's the drawback. So all what someone pulled together managed to get other people to come over, and because he worked in like a family kind of eatery, he understands the importance for like especially these parents with strollers and everything like that. And Megami helped out so much because she's such like a warm, inviting kind of person. It's kind of like mom's home cooking type of vibe where she vibes well with the customers, and so warm and inviting, and knows what they need, like making sure there's space for the the parent stroller for their baby and everything like that. It's like all that is working right in tandem with each other. So someone manages to get more slips than Koga at the end of the day. So I thought that was like a dope thing here. But then, of course, uh, uh, by the way, Kuga for the Moon Banquet Festival, he made stir-fried water spinach with Szechuan pepper, which is just like water spinach Szechuan pepper. That's the only recipe. We got some real facts here. Stir frying is a Chinese cooking technique in which ingredients are fried in a small amount of very hot oil while being stirred in a wok. The technique originated in China and in recent centuries has spread into other parts of Asia and the West. Scholars that think that wok or pan frying may have been used as early as the Han Dynasty, 206 BC to 220 AD, for drying grain, not for cooking. But it was not until the Ming Dynasty, 1368 to 1644, that the wok reached its modern shape and allowed quick cooking in hot oil. Well into the 20th century, while restaurants and affluent families could afford the oil and fuel needed for stir fry, the most widely used cooking techniques remained boiling and steaming. Stir fry cooking came to predominate over the course of the century as more people could afford oil and fuel, and in the West spread beyond Chinese communities. Stir frying and Chinese food have been recommended as both healthy and appealing for their skillful use of vegetables, meats, and fish, which are moderate in their fat content, and sauces, which are not overly rich, provided calories are kept at a reasonable level. So, uh, so Erina, of course, going the higher tip of the mountain area for the high end type of clientele, is preparing everything. And she always has like a space set for this particular cook, which turns out to be someone's dad. But of course, they don't know that because Soma goes by Yukihira while his dad is going by Jorishiro Saiba. But I think maybe Yukihira is the mom's, name. But she always sets aside because she always looked up to this guy, and because of his cooking as a little girl, he he showed her through his cooking what it's supposed to do. It was supposed to, I don't know, just bring joy, you know, you with unique twists and turns with cooking. And but then all that turns sour when the main villain of this particular arc comes in, and it's her dad. uh uh Azami Nakari. And this guy is a piece of work, I tell you. And you're talking about like just parental abuse, and I imagine the manga is probably a little harsher than what we saw in the anime. He, I just gonna go with abuse because it's not in like full detail what he did, but we kind of hint at that, because he's, as a little girl, because he's supposed to be like this god tongue, he want to make sure it's refined to a fault, where cooking is supposed to be done one way, very rigid in his mindset. And because of, what he put her through as a little kid, forcing her to like, like, this is the way it's gotta do it. And then she's kind of like brainwashed, and he has like a weird way of, manipulating people, because he, I was gonna cut to the chase. He has been like, slowly but surely, moving pieces around the board, so that way, because he didn't just show up just to show up. He had pushed out his father-in-law from the head of the Toski Academy, and he got most of the people of the seat of the 10 to agree to push out the grandfather and have him run things, because his overall goal is not just to take over the academy to teach how he thinks cooking should be, but also he had aspirations of tearing down other eateries that doesn't, because he thinks like everybody should only eat the most refined of cuisines, no room for experimentations, or no room for, like the, the Yukihira type of eateries. None of that stuff. It has to be just, only refined type of cuisines, made distinctly how he thinks it should be. And when he got in this position, he, all these students, are like slowly but surely getting turned into what like Erina was, where they just kind of like brainwashed, and it's like, how to do this, just like, yeah, 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 just like Mr. Nakari says. Mr. Nakari says to do this, so gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do this. They all just completely brainwashed, and this dude got some weird tendrils in everybody. And Erina, it's like she having like PTSD. Every time she sees this guy, she is just like reverts back to that little girl. And so it's like someone shows up, she kind of snaps out of it, because he kind of brings that light back into her life. Clearly she likes this dude, but she, does everything she can to like just tries to be annoyed with this guy. So now things have in Toski has gone completely awry. All these little houses and dormitories that each of these people are in are getting shut down, and funds are being deprived. Like Akira and June, who pretty much has their own little area where they experiment with spices and everything like that. Their funds, they supposed to have been getting like funding from some outside source. I forgot what it was, but that's been completely stripped away. Their place is being in danger of being torn down. So is Bold Club with Meet and that Johnny Bravo looking dude. And then of course Soma's dormitory too, and it's all going so that way there's no like opposing things underneath the banner of the Toski. Then all on Toski under one thing, and no other dorm kind of stuff. It's like focused, very rigid. And in the classrooms, some of the teachers there have been like pushed out if they weren't going to follow what Azami wants. I was like, we gotta cook this particular food in this particular way, point blank, period. And so those who didn't adhere to it, they're pushed out. And then either some of the people who are at the C of the 10 come in as subs, or Izumi bring in people that agrees with him to bring as teachers that will follow his rules. And now everybody, turmoil is all over the place. And as soon as we get a little bit more with the backstory with Erina, even with Alice, she points out how she cannot stand her uncle, given the fact that because when she was as a little kid was sent off to learn in Europe for learn about cooking in Europe, she's writes to Erina every day, but never receives those letters as a kid because Azami tore them up. There is no room for any kind of outside influence. Only he views himself to be the only person that should be influenced Erina to be like the proper god tongue. And there's no room for other human connections. He doesn't want her to be influenced by any other person but him. It's weird, and this is like a proper manipulation, not like manipulation and abuse, not the cliche tossed around version like the West have been throwing it left and right to the point where it is almost meaningless because it's so broad. But this is what it means to be like, this is like definitely like child abuse here, where he's just manipulating this little girl. And if it wasn't for the grandfather pushing him out and annexed him, or at least exiled him from Toski, where now she's like got a bit of spark back into her. But now that he's come back, all that's kind of like slowly been chipping away. But thanks to Alice and the friendships Erina cultivated throughout this series up until this point, they break her out of her room, and now she's kind of hiding away at the Soma's dormitory. And of course the grandfather asked Soma to do what he can to help his granddaughter. And of course Soma's very nonchalant about this. Of course he knows he want to help her, but he feels like, I just gonna try to cook food out, I just trying to hear to learn about cooking and everything like that. I'm not too certain about like your family's kind of squabbles or whatever like that, but it's typical anime shonen thing where it's like the main protagonist is like sometimes like, and it's whatever, you know, but clearly deep down he's like he does care and he does what he can. But I don't know. Sometimes it works, but other times I'm like, I don't know. It's kind of like a moment where you need to take. Of course, he's supposed to be the one that's like not that serious type of anime protagonist, but I don't know. It's like, dude, this girl's gone through a lot of stuff with this dad, given the fact that what you've been told, you kind of want to like show a little concern off the bat rather than after things get serious, you know, he's like show some fortitude about it. I don't know. I usually I don't really typically I don't really care for that kind of attitude. It's rare for me to feel like, yeah, that's kind of his thing. It's kind of like a Goku thing, because Goku acts like that sometimes, and it's like, I don't know, it's something I don't really care for as a whole. So now, uh, uh, when people want to challenge this new way of the schools being governed, people challenge, you know, uh, are challenging people to food wars in order to keep their dorm where they are, because of which I kind of figure this is kind of like odd because it's only happened this one time, and you'll think this would have been more repeated until something was pushed. But certain people challenge uh other people, I think is usually Aizen, to food wars in order to keep their dorms. But he Aizen dude rigged the judges and put in the people that will just agree with Aizumi's way of thinking, where it's like they don't even give a, you know, the opposing team any chance. They barely even eat the food, and it's like, oh yeah, Aizen win, and it's like a complete kangaroo court, a complete sham, and it's like everybody's just astonished how like the judges are pretty much bought off. So a bunch of food wars have been rescinded, whereas like they feel like they can't even fight back if, you know, if they're not given like a fair food war. But Soma isn't like one to back down. As soon as his dorm was getting threatened and everything like that, and everybody's freaking out, he goes to challenge Aizen to a food war. And of course, Aizen agrees, knowing like, oh well, I got to just bought off, so who cares? But Soma provided a particular dish that kind of forces the judges to try it because it smelled so good. And while this is going on, in parallel, Aizen, you know, sent some goons to try to tear down the dorm anyway. But luckily, the people at the dorm, like Megami and the others, fought back by getting, hoses and, bats and, like those like SWAT shield things, and just like fought off anybody tries to break in. So it was kind of it was kind of dope. Uh so Aizen provided the judges the Hainan Jai Fan. Hainan Jai Fan is offered as a set meal of boiled Satsuma jidori, which is a type of high quality poultry, garnished with cilantro jasmine rice that was cooked in the water used to boil the Satsuma jidori, and a side of salad. The dish comes with a side of three sauces: a chili sauce that's also uses Satsuma jidori boiling water, a ginger sauce which contains the oil that was used from frying the Satsuma jidori, and su dayam. This dish is also known as Kyoman Kai in Thailand, Hainanese chicken rice, and other various names. It is a popular dish and a staple on menus all across the region of Southeast Asia. The recipe is Satsuma jadori, garlic, ginger, jaduri oil, jaduri skin, sauteed, butter, jaduri fat, uncooked long grain jasmine rice, jaduri oil, the jaduri stock, Satsuma jadori obviously, feet, drumettes, cilantro, the salad, English cucumber, cherry, tomato, cilantro, the soup, jaduri stock, cilantro, sauces, chili sauce, chili peppers, jaduri stock, cilantro, ginger sauce, the ginger, jaduri oil, sea iwi, sea ew diam, lit black sweet soy sauce, soybeans, molasses. Fun facts here. The Hainanese chicken rice is a Chinese chicken rice that is invented by Chinese immigrants from Hainan province of southern China. It is also made famous in most Southeast Asian countries such as Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. Uh, Cu diam or black soy sauce is made by fermenting soybeans and molasses. The finished one tastes sweet with a tint of umami and slight saltiness. Saltiness. Um, 1 second here. I'm trying to find Soma's that she made against Aizen. Um, sorry. Oh, shoot. I almost thought that the Moon Banquet Festival, what someone made, the Haijo Bing. Uh, dish made by someone during the Moon Banquet Festival. However, he first learned about this dish when his father acquired a clay oven from one of his acquaintances in order to become the best-selling stall during a summer festival in the Sumidori shopping district. Haijo Bing is a Taiwanese snack dish made by taking a meatball comprised of minced pork, spare ribs, marinated in black pepper, wrapping it with a batter of all-purpose flour, and baking it in a clay oven. Recipe: white sesame seeds, all-purpose flour, dough batter, uh, black pepper, pork spare ribs, mince, sliced scallions, mild sesame oil, 5 spice powder, star anise. Looks really good. Uh, um, okay, here we go. What someone made in response to Aizen is the cheese feathered Hanetsuki gyoza. Utilizing the uh, Hanasuki style gyoza, Soma used Parmesan cheese, Satsuma Jidori bone soup, and a hidden flavor that allows him to battle against and defeat Aizen's uh, a comic dish with overwhelming victory. It, the recipe is chicken wings, big chicken wings, Parmesan cheese grated, water, vegetable oil, filling, pork, ground pork, diced ginger, diced garlic chives, diced cabbage, diced pork jowl, diced leek, and diced shiitake mushrooms. The seasoning: soy sauce, soyu, sake, sugar, potato starch, sesame oil, oyster sauce, the sweet and sour sauce, potato starch, chicken bouillon, soy sauce, sayu, vinegar, sugar, sesame oil, ketchup, water. And so now that this food was wafted into the judge's face, they couldn't help themselves but try it. But then they can't help but be honest. And so he won the food war despite them being bought off. They couldn't, like, you know, given the fact that it was being broadcasted, they couldn't help but, like, because you tried the food, clearly you obviously loved it. You can't say uh uh full tilt that, like, oh, Aizen cooked better. You couldn't say that. Clearly when you, like, doing that, the that, like, all that stuff, clearly you liked it. But uh after this, we don't see any other corrupted judges moving forward. But I and this is my, kind of personal pet peeve. I don't want to say a pet peeve, but, like, my issue here is that I would have wanted to see them, like, begrudgingly still say, like, Aizen won, but because of the obviousness to the contrary, that, like, you dare lie. Clearly you're loving Soma's food. Soma clearly had the, better food by comparison, and you still go with Aizen. I would have wanted to see some full-on revolt or something, and Izumi having to like quote all this stuff, and because like you got reporters and everything like that going on, and it's like, you know, like the whole, you know, word got out in the country is like, oh, this is a complete sham, and cause of this controversy, then Aizen had to like be forced to agree, like, okay, this is, you know, I don't want, you know, I got machinations in place, I can't have this kind of stuff, so now I gotta rescind the decision, make someone the winner, and then put in place honest judges again. I kind of wish they had something like that to give like a reason why, because they kind of like just had this one moment with corrupt judges and they never kind of utilize that again, because, you know, why wouldn't Aizen have like corrupt judges in place to say one way or the other? But now he's kind of forced to like still have people, you know, agree with how Tosuke should be run, but they still have to be fair. That's the thing. I just kind of wish they, you know, give like a reason why they go back to the honest judges instead of just wasting time with corrupt ones if they was gonna use some. Anyway, so the someone's dormant is saved, and this kind of inspires Erina to see like people like was willing to fight for her and fight for their dormant and fight back against her father, and she now it's like, you know, I can't allow this. I gotta, you know, do my part because I can't have my father, you know, do to the school what he did to me and do to her friends. So next they go to the next round of well, they continue on with the classes, but thanks to more corruption with these teachers, is like giving them, you know, well, thanks to Erina's teaching and what they need to prepare for in the upcoming winter kind of classes, because they, you know, they'll still try to pull some underhanded tricks. They just can't be so super obvious with it this time around. So Soma, Megami, and I'm pretty sure it's Takumi Aldini. I'm pretty sure they try to give them like some, and because they're supposed to be cooking like fish, but they're like kind of, you know, not, it was like ripe or not healthy looking fish that's supposed to be proper for cooking. They, you know, it's like, okay, this is not going to come out good if we try to cook this fish. And because everything got so bought up and everything like that, one second. Sorry, brother's texting me. Trying to figure out some stuff to do for our mother for Mother's Day. Anyway, so they go out, and it's, you know, wintertime, mind you, so things are just kind of like, you know, snow coming down, but they managed to, despite the school buying up all the good fish for this particular round in the surrounding area, they managed to find, you know, some from some local people So they managed to make a dish, and you see other people, like other rebel students, figuring out, okay, backdoor ways of doing the job, because despite their the underhanded tactics, they find a workaround and they manage to go to the next step. However, after this beautiful moment where they spend time in this little like almost like a festival of lights or something like that, and where it's kind of like trying out all these different treats, and it's almost like the Taste of Chicago if you ever been, where they just like this food festival that's got some downtime and enjoying their moment together, hanging out and pairing off and stuff like that. And you get to see this awesome moment between Erida and Soma, where they just on the train looking out in the starry night sky, and she's looking at him for the first time in a different light, where early on she always looked at him with kind of like annoyance, but now it's just like she see him like in like a entirely different way than she haven't thought about before. So clearly she got like a budding kind of like a feelings for Soma, even though someone like Meet Me is clearly like simping for Soma. Like there's a lot of hot girls in Food Wars, like Erina, Alice, Meet, even a couple of judges here and there. uh uh but eventually things go really pear-shaped when now the next challengers are the seat of tens, and they now it's only Erina, Soma, Takumi Aldini, and Megami, the only rebels left. No, not Megami. Is it Megami? uh yeah, it's Megami. Yeah, Soma, Erina, Megami, and Takumi is the only ones left of the rebels. And so then they come to realize Akira has turned against them and working for the opposing forces, uh, with who got the seat on the 10 and replacing Kuga. Uh, and so now it's Soma going up against Akira, and the theme of the a particular food between these two will be bear meat. And thanks to the help of Kuga and trying to figure out, okay, how can I, because bear meat is a very complicated dish to make because it is very gamey, like venison, and if it's not cooked properly, the rancid kind of smell will kind of ruin the entire dish altogether. uh 1 second here. Okay. uh what Akira made is, oh, and this is where the first time we actually meet uh Alice's dad, who is the son of their grandfather. Uh, so we will eventually meet Erina's mom. So the mom and Erina's mom and Alice's dad are siblings, and 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 they're the children of the grandfather. So uh, Ikemi and I forgot, you know, let me look this up because the family tree. Because we met Lorna Nakari as one of the judges in the previous season, where she kind of speaks in a very like Swedish type of accent, and she straight up looked like like a grown up Alice. And we meet Soya Nakari, who is always looks so serious, but when it comes to his wife and daughter, he gets all blubbery, like, "Oh my god, I love them so much. They're so cute. I don't know which one's cuter than the others." Like he gets like a doting father and husband kind of thing. Uh, but we will meet uh uh the sister in the final season. But we'll get to that later. But anyway, he and a couple of these twins. Well, this is kind of, I gotta point out something because I watched this video a while back, like certain issue, talking about certain issues with anime. One of which is sexualizing girls that legally they're grown, but their parents look underage. It's kind of like, what's that girl from Seven Deadly Sins that that Bond is in love with? She was like, I think he used that as an example where she's like 14,000 years old or some BS like that, but she looked like 14, and that is just like odd thing to put in young boys' heads. I mean, like sometimes they, you get like someone like Erina who clearly looks like she's, somewhere between 18 to 21, and sometimes you get like Alice's mom who clearly like she's, like in her like mid to late 30s. You get things like that, but every once in a while, it's like, God, it is so uncomfortable when you got these like, clearly adult children. And I know Japan has different rules when it comes to legal age or consenting, legal age of sexual interactions and stuff like that. But in your mind, it's still kind of ewy. So it's like, God, this is like bothersome. Anyway, they are judging the quality of the dish. So Akira has fried bear, and this is a dish based off of a popular southern United States dish, fried chicken. Substituted chicken meat with bear meat instead. Just looking at its sparkling surface, which will make you salivate. With the gravy sauce, just a drop will make the diner its pet. Combined with the bear, it becomes stimulating and spicy, yet mellow and sweet. And by using his mastery of spices, he transformed the bear's natural bone stench into a highly intricate, constructed tower of flavor. Overall, it is a delicate balance between fragrance and taste. So you got fried bear, sliced stick marinated and deep fried bear roast, marinated puree, garlic, ginger, onion, frying batter, eggs, potato starch, frying oil, Akira's Cajun spice blend, black pepper, paprika, thyme, cayenne powder, cayenne chili pepper, oregano, salt, uh, Genever, juniper berries, dried and ground in mortar, gravy sauce, bear fond, deglaze, bear fond, bear broth, milk, wheat flour. I don't even know where you get bear broth from. Uh, Akira's Cajun spice blend once again, oregano, yeah, and biscuits. Like I said, I don't even know. I'm pretty sure there's some place you can find bear meat, but I'm pretty sure it's very like it's so unique in terms of cooking that it is like expensive as all hell. Uh, so Soma cooked this bear meat hamburg steak by enhancing the flavor of the red meat and fat with dried five flavor fruit, Cassandra chanises, uh, that were pickled in sake. Together, the berries give off their own flavor while increasing that of the bear meat. So we got minced meat, bear fat, bear red meat, beef, cloves, dried rosemary, chili peppers, dried five flavor berry pickled, and Japanese sake. Real facts: Hamburg steak is a patty of ground beef. It is closely similar to the Salisbury steak, made popular worldwide by marinating remains. It becomes a mainstream dish in around the start of the 19th century. And of course, someone wins that. And in this food war, June shows up because Akira turned coat because uh, Izumi promised to bring back all the funding for June's little dormitory. And since it, I want to point out the fact, as I mentioned about those twins and his judging stuff, June clearly is, an adult, probably around or at least a little bit younger than Soma's dad, because her and Soma's dad went to the same school when they were students. And June found Akira when he was like, a young kid living on the streets and brought him in, pretty much like a surrogate mom. But she still looks like she could easily be like bare minimum 25, but she looks she should be like the same age as Akira, but she should be looking a little older than that. But she looks the same age. You trying to make this because clearly, Food Wars was like, the animation style was made by a person who worked on hentai stuff. So they made June look super like young despite the time jump. And clearly these two got some kind of feelings for each other, and it's like, obviously, if you want to flip it on certain women out there in the world, certain feminists out in the world, clearly this will be grooming, wouldn't it? Clearly like this girl is clearly in a seat of power by comparison to the guy, but you know it's like clearly like it's like it's a little like, okay, there's gonna be something here. It never is, but clearly behind the scenes, you're like, okay, these two would clearly be boning. 1 second. so she, snaps him out of it and let him know that, the dormitory and the funding doesn't mean nothing if, you know, Akira, he loses his spark that he had previously, because, you know, what's his name, the buff dude, that someone befriended earlier in the season, Jin Dojima, pointed out to Akira that you lost something. It's kind of like in the way he reminded that guy with the glasses that was about to boot out Megami in the first season, where you lost something, you kind of plateaued. And he reminds me of Akira, almost the same thing, where it's like you, because he almost got drawn into the same thing as Erina when it comes to her father. It's like he took something from you, or was about to, because he dangled something that you thought would have been the most important to June, and use that against you. But June reminds him that none of that matters. I just needed you, and we will be all right as long as we have each other. And this kind of snaps Akira out of it. But then moving forward, Soma and Erina decides to, like, okay, we had enough of these little subterfuge, backstabbing, and underhanded tactics from Izumi's part of things. We're going to challenge you to this this massive food war. And then a surprise, Jorichiro and Jin show up to sweeten the deal. Uh, 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 okay. It's called the Regiment de Cuisine. Uh, a very French type of uh uh title, but it's pretty much a team battle where it's like, Jorichiro said, like, if you allow this to occur, and if you guys win, all the people that the rebel students will be ousted from ever joining Tosuke Academy ever again, and I will. You can have your little way with this, school, from henceforth. And on top of that, because I'm such a great cook, and you've been wanting to work with me for the longest time, I will work under you to make whatever you want, however you see fit, with no back and forth about it. And of course, when Izumi was a student at Tosuke, he looked up to Jorichiro like almost everybody else, and kind of took the wrong lessons on how, like, Jorichiro was cooking. And it's like, okay, he agrees. But then we learned a little bit more about Jorichiro's time at Tosuke and his rise to his fame. And it's kind of like, well, you see, like, other people who plateau in a way where they call him, like, it's kind of funny, they call him like Carnage, where he took on, he done the same, regimente against other students who didn't qualify, or just kind of butthurt the fact that he was so skilled in his cooking, and they all, each one of them wanted to challenge him to a food war. So he suggested the regimente. So 50 of those students, decided to go up against Jorichiro, and all but one lost to Jerichiro. The last one, who went up in his face in the first place, saw how the others kind of like lost back to back to back, and he just kind of pussed out altogether. And since then, he just became just renowned in his skills of cooking, and is up to the point of his detriment. Now it's kind of like he lost that spark of the fun of cooking. And it wasn't for like Erena's grandfather, who, because he explains, he saw this coming, and he went to let him know, like, hey, why don't you take some time off, because you know, you're kind of like, it's kind of like, in a way, doing, you know, you doing something that you love, but when that, you know, thing becomes work, and it becomes stagnant and, you know, routine, then you lose the reason for doing this in the first place. So kind of like stepping away from it. So that's where Jerichiro went out traveling. He eventually met with his wife. They had a kid, and he went back to Japan, running his own eatery, and the rest is history. We never knew about what's going on with the mom, whatever happened to that thing. Matter of fact, I'm gonna look this up right now. Like, you know, who is Soma's mom? Of course, she's deceased. Her name is like Tomoko Yukihira. But we see like images of her later on in the series, and she looks stunning and everything like that. She kind of got that kind of same attitude as Soma. Uh, she got kind of the same hairstyle as Soma, but with the reddish color like the father. Uh, uh, okay, looking this up right now because I never knew. It was around the time someone was 12 years old. There was an accident in the kitchen while Tomoko, the mom, was preparing to open restaurant. She had a sudden fall, and someone found her unconscious on the kitchen floor. Soon, while in the hospital, they found the cause of her fall: a congenital heart valve defect, and she died from complications about a month later. Oh wow, that is sad. And she looked very healthy and everything like that, but I don't know if it was, you know, something that was found earlier or didn't catch it before. I'm not sure if it's like, usually when somebody like have like a, I don't know if it's, you know, typically, I'm not a doctor, I'm not sure that's, you know, part of being like a heart attack or anything like that, but usually people like, you know, seeing like signs or something like that, and, you know, go to a doctor about it, but I don't know. But that's when like okay, now like the regiment's starting, and the first three people to go up against one another is, you know, oh, and because they're so short on teammates, is just Erina, Soma, Megumi, and Takumi. They get Kuga on their side, but also they get Kuga on their side, but also that copycat. I keep blanking on his doggone name all the time. Mimasaka. And there's one other dude that I'm really not familiar with. Uh, uh, Mega Mishima. Uh, he used to be like the third C of the elite. It's like him and Ishiki and Koga was also former C's of the 10, but didn't agree with how Izumi were like running things. So they were eventually got kind of pushed out and replaced. So he comes in to help. So uh he goes up against some faceless chick, but uh Ishiki goes up against that Italian dude. Uh and beat him. What was his name? That Italian dude. Giulio. And it turns out Ishiki. Oh well, someone goes up against uh Nene, and Nene and Ishiki grew up together. Uh, and she always had a, kind of like a bit of a rivalry or slash grudge against him because things came so naturally to Ishiki while she always been so studious and hardworking and had to, you know, grind to get good. So she always had that uh vibe going. So and it's like Ishiki. Okay, so Ishiki prepared the he hit some Mabushi Polar Star Dorm flavor. Uh, it's a Kensei style charcoal grill eel, soy sauce, smoked garlic chips, made by Sun Ibusuki, Daigo Aoki, and Shoji Sato, smoked in walnut wood. Cheese risotto, uncooked rice, senso Japanese pepper, and Yoki Yoshino and Akumi Mito cheese. Eel liver soup. And by the way, the way he, peeled and, uh, opened the eel is like almost like, because eels doesn't have like a vertebrae, so he just like smoothly like sliced them open and like, it's a brutally display of skill. Saute eel liver, olive oil, uh, sake, and katsuobushi stock. And Julio made the capitone in umido, which is stewed large female eel called capitone served with thick tomato sauce from San Marzano tomatoes and spice. 2 pieces of crispy polenta are accompanied as the garnish. Eating this dish induces the sensation of being pinned and squeezed by incredibly voluptuous bust. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. The judges here, uh, 2 males and 1 female, and like they burst open their clothes, and like it's his image of these 2 men like just enveloped by this woman's voluptuous breast. It's freaking hilarious. But the recipe is capitone eel, olive oil, salt, pepper, onions, garlic, white wine, tomato sauce, San Marzano tomatoes, spices, grilled polenta, corn, and basil leaves. And of course, use key 1. Now the more important one is uh Soma versus the versus Nene. Okay. Uh Her is 90% buckwheat soba garnished with sakura shrimp kakegage. Kagage. Sorry, I'm butchering these words. A magnificent dish that utilizes Nene's excellent experience in hand making Edo style soba noodles. The flavor of the noodles themselves like the world's most delicate blossoming, but by eating the noodles in conjunction with the sakura shrimp kakage that was fried in white sesame oil would make one feel being immediately transported into a future where the noodles were already finished. The recipe: soba, 9 parts refined buckwheat flour, sarracina, 1 part wheat flour, water, kagage, sakura shrimp, tempura batter, white sesame oil, dipping sauce, dashi, soy sauce, mirin. Real facts: the soba is the Japanese name for buckwheat. It usually refers to thin noodles made from buckwheat flour or a combination of buckwheat and wheat flours, or Nagano soba. They contrast to thick wheat noodles called udon. Soba noodles are served either chilled with a dipping sauce or in hot broth as a noodle soup. Tempura is a classical Portuguese dish brought to a popularized by Japan consisting of seafood or vegetables that have been battered and deep fried. Kakake is a type of tempura made with mixed vegetable strips such as onion, carrot, burdock, and sometimes including shrimp or squid, which are deep fried as small round fritters. And this went up against Soma's dish. Okay. Okay. Here's this Yukihira style barley flour soba. Through the uses of thrice milled buckwheat flour, the delicate flavor of soba remains preserved despite frying it. Eating the dish invokes nostalgic summer festival memories of one's youth. Jeez. So we got soba, 8 parts unrefined thrice milled buckwheat flour, 2 parts barley flour, water, dashi, kashi, 10 parts dark soy sauce, 4 parts mirin, 3 parts brown sugar. Stir fry duck breast thinly sliced, fried scallions, duck fat. Condiments, ground and toasted sesame seeds, Szechuan peppers, ginger. And for the garnish, shredded scallion. So obviously Soma won that. And so all three of the rebels in the first round won their matches. So now here's where people decide to take a break. And so now it's like, everybody's like, oh my God, could they actually win this? Because, all the other rebels who lost, earlier, before the Regimente are sitting in a cage, getting front row seats to this kind of thing. And, upon winning this, they get to be brought back to school, and, Izumi steps down so that way the grandfather can take up back his seat and things get back to normal. So this is where the season ends. So the beginning of the fourth season is, what's going on with the rest of this match, because it's like a massive deal. And there's more exciting moments coming up, but this is like amazing. I love this freaking anime. But yeah, look forward. I'm gonna go right into binge watching the fourth season, and whenever I'm done, I'll quickly put out my thoughts. But leave a comment below. Let me know if you've seen the third season of Food Wars. Let me know what was your favorite dish, who's your favorite character so far in this one, and what you think of Izumi in terms of like a villain character of Food Wars. Because up to this point, we had like rivals, but not like true villains yet, which is kind of very unique because it's the third season and we just now getting like some legit villain here. And it's like a different way, because he wants to take over the world, but in like a unique way, whereas it's like he wants to take over the world with his way of cooking, where it has to be this particular refined way that is only he deems see fit that people should only eat and only cook. Kind of his own way of world domination, but through cooking. I thought it was kind of unique spin. But the first two seasons, we have like, rivals, or just people who's kind of like uppity, but not like villainous. And this is only one that seems like a true villain so far, which is like kind of unique in terms of anime. That we're going through a couple of seasons and we just now getting like a villain. So I thought this, kind of cool. Very unheard of in terms of not just an anime, but a show in general. But anyway, I will see you guys in a little bit as I go over a movie review that came out recently on Netflix, directed by Jerry Seinfeld, called Unfrosted. So I will see you guys in a little bit, and so I can give you my overall thoughts on that. But like I said before, like and subscribe. Show your support. Let me know what you guys think of Food Wars. And did you ever try cooking any of these dishes that you've seen from the show? Leave a comment. Let me know if you did. But I will see you guys soon. Take care.